this where I sit?
Yeah. Do you play any sports?
I do, I play golf.
Yeah, I do. I play football.
Alright. Do you like fashion?
Yes, I do.
What clothing brands do you shop from?
Nike and H&M.
As you can tell, I'm wearing some Air Forces, which are from Lake.
I preferably buy from Nike.
I don't know if they do. If they will work those jobs, will you come to Flint?
Well, you'll have to convince me that they want to make shoes.
And one last question. What do you think every child has the right to?
Food, water, and education.
Shelter, education, and
At least food, shelter, and some source of income.
Using teenage girls and paying them less than 40 cents an hour.
Child labor is becoming more prevalent, and while most of those viewed can attend school, consume food, and live in a home, there are many children who live lives we cannot even understand. While we, the consumers, continue to spend money on items we desire, children of the same age in Bangladesh, Indonesia, and other developing nations manufacture the commodities we consume and struggle to meet basic requirements like food, shelter, healthcare, and education. Most of the people watching are privileged with what we call necessities, but they may call it a luxury. We've all heard and seen these brands, and many of us are their customers. Nike and other well-known manufacturers put shoes on our feet, so we may walk comfortably. Children of our age, on the other hand, produce those shoes we buy for pleasure, to afford a dinner that is not even close to a meal. Many Western cultures also used child labor in the early 20th century. Many peasant children were placed in coal mines as they were smaller and could easily move around. Realizing that children must be educated in their younger years have caused the United States, along with many other Western countries, to end this practice. However, they still needed to meet their people's demands for products. And so, many based US companies began opening factories in countries where the labor is cheap and more convenient to produce their goods at a mass scale. This led to countries such as China becoming an industrial superpower. This may be considered beneficial for a country's economy. However, it increases the number of people working in the secondary factor of work. This limits many human rights and restricts children from education. A study from UNICEF concluded that children are more vulnerable in the workforce. Since they are not adults, they are treated with less demands met, and are easily exploited for their work. Anyone watching can agree that working in a sweatshop for 12 hours a day is not an ideal childhood. However, it could lead to more serious cases where children are even sexually exploited at these workplaces. This would later lead to an economic issue in those countries, as most children do not have access to education, limiting their potential and thus restricting jobs in areas other than raw material extraction and manufacturing. Unfortunately, a solution to this is not easy. Many may think that boycotting these companies such as Nike, H&M, or even Hershey's chocolate will end this issue. However, this may cause even more hardship for the children, since while they currently have a source of money, they would not need to labor in these places if they had food, education, and housing. As a result, boycotting may further starve the children. Establishments such as the World Labour Organization focus on tackling these issues by funding and opening schools within these countries. This will allow children to get access to free schooling in hopes of finding a way out of the primary and secondary sectors of employment, and potentially join the tertiary and quaternary sectors. While they might still have to work on these factories to afford food and shelter, they can work much fewer hours than before and learn to be in a safer environment. As the consumers, It is our responsibility to contribute to solving this problem as well. We can avoid subsidizing firms that utilize children to create their products by shopping at retailers that do not use child labor. Overall, the issue would link back to us. These products are being produced under harsh conditions using innocent children just so our wants can be met. Our countries have a wide range of products and brands to shop from. Therefore, we must think about the children who work their childhood away making the products before we buy that newest sneaker from Nike. We must remember that children from all over the world have the right to be educated and not to be producing one's products. Overall, this issue links to many UN Sustainable Development Goals. Number 1 being no poverty. Also, number 4, quality education. Number 10, reduced inequalities. Number 8, decent work and economic growth. And finally, number 12, responsible consumption and production. To find out more about the organizations that work to solve this issue, there are some links on the description below.